If you grew up playing board games, you probably remember the sound of shuffling chance cards, the frustration of landing on someone's hotel, or the dream of owning every property on the map. But what if I told you that the game we all know, the one printed on millions of kitchen tables, was built on a story of erasure, a story that started with a woman who tried to warn the world about the dangers of greed, and ended with her name almost completely erased from history? Her name was Elizabeth Magie, and long before Monopoly became a family classic, she created something very different. Back in 1903, America was a completely different place. Massive corporations controlled entire industries, one steel company, one oil company, one railroad company, and regular people, they were struggling. Elizabeth Magie saw how unfair it was, how landowners and monopolists could trap entire communities in poverty. She wasn't just annoyed about it, she wanted to expose it. So she made a board game. She called it the Landlord's game, and it wasn't designed for fun or family rivalry. It was designed as a mirror, a way to show how wealth could pile up in the hands of the few, while the many fell further behind. Her game had streets, properties, rent, and even a corner labeled Public Park. But the purpose wasn't to win, it was to understand, to feel the pressure of a system built to benefit the rich. Elizabeth even created two sets of rules, one where everyone shared wealth, and one where one player could dominate the board. And when players tried both, the result was always the same. The system built on greed always crushed the one built on fairness. People loved it. College professors used it, communities played it. It traveled quietly, passed from person to person, hand-drawn on scraps of paper or pieces of cardboard. For decades, the Landlord's game evolved, not through a company, but through people who kept adapting the rules, changing the street names, adding their own twists. And that's where a man named Charles Darrow enters the story. It was the 1930s. The Great Depression had hit America hard. Jobs disappeared, savings vanished. Families survived day to day. During this time, Darrow was introduced to a homemade version of Elizabeth's game at a friend's house. But Darrow didn't ask where it came from. He didn't ask who created it. He didn't ask why it existed in the first place. Instead, he copied it. He polished the design, added bright colors, and renamed it Monopoly. Then he pitched it to a major company called Parker Brothers. At first, they rejected him. The game was too complicated, they said, too long, too messy. But when Darrow began selling homemade copies on his own and they started to sell out, Parker Brothers came back. They bought Darrow's version. They printed his name on the box. They called him the inventor, and the world believed it. Meanwhile, the real creator, the woman who started it all, was erased with a single check. Parker Brothers eventually discovered Elizabeth Magie's original patent. They realized her ideas weren't just similar, they were identical, so they bought her patent for a small fee, just $500, not to honor her, but to bury her version forever. After that, her name disappeared from the story. Elizabeth Magie became a ghost in her own creation, while Charles Darrow became the first board game millionaire in history. For decades, no one questioned it. Monopoly became iconic, birthday parties, family nights, holiday traditions. That famous top hat guy became a symbol of fun and competition, never of the system Elizabeth tried to critique. The message she wanted to share was completely flipped upside down. And yet, the truth didn't stay buried forever. Historians eventually uncovered old patents, faded newspaper articles, and hand-drawn versions of the Landlord's game. They discovered Elizabeth, handwritten rules. They traced the game's journey from her living room to communities across America to the moment Darrow stumbled across it. And slowly, her name began to reappear online, in books, in documentaries. But here's the part that hits the hardest. Elizabeth Magie wasn't trying to make a fortune. She wasn't trying to win. She just wanted people to understand how dangerous monopolies could be. And ironically, her warning became the very thing she tried to prevent, a monopoly on a board in homes around the world. Today, over 1 billion people have played Monopoly, but most have never heard of Elizabeth Magie. Most don't know that a woman, more than a century ago, used her creativity to challenge power. Most don't know that history nearly erased her. But maybe that's why stories like this matter. Because sometimes the people who change the world aren't the ones on the box. Sometimes they're the ones who never got the credit. The ones whose ideas survived even when their names didn't. So the next time you roll the dice, or buy a property, or build a tiny red hotel, remember that beneath the game lies a forgotten truth, a warning that still echoes today, and the legacy of a woman who tried to teach us something long before the world was ready to listen. Subscribe for more real stories like this.